Greetings and welcome back to Stellaris, my Commonwealth of Man playthrough. So they have announced the next DLC and free update. The free update is going to have an overhaul on ground combat, and the DLC is going to have an overhaul of the leader system. So a lot of the information you see in this playthrough will be invalidated or changed. I do know there is going to end up being a soft cap on leaders, and if you have more leaders than you have cap, each leader is going to cost more. Also, the cost for leaders is going up. Right now it's about 2 influence per leader, but it's going to be 2 influence per level of a leader. Well, this one says the upkeep is 1, even though, oh yeah, it's base of 2 and 50% for eager. Another thing they will be doing when they overhaul the leaders is doing away with the individual leaders for branches of technology. You will just have one overall research director. And they won't need to remain over here as research director. They will still be able to be out in the field as well as being the research director. Alright, a bunch of new members joined the galactic community. We are still listed as number 6. So all of the new members will be weaker empires. The Jazigian Democratic Administration. Hegemonic Imperialist with democracy. The Rishethian State. More Hegemonic Imperialist. They are currently in a war, as a matter of fact. The Hegemony of Ubaria has finally joined the galactic community. United Miravandian Imperium has joined. Yarrow Reacherin Divine Order has joined. Evangelizing Zealots. And the Sacrosanct Garothian Empire has joined. More Evangelizing Zealots. We also have Tiyanki Pest Control as a resolution, proposed by the Tendrazuran Star Conglomerate. They are ruthless capitalist. Roving Tiyanki are not only a nuisance, but also a navigational hazard. The presence of these unpredictable creatures cannot be tolerated in the galaxy's increasingly busy space lanes. Any empire with Tiyanki inside their borders will be in breach of galactic law until the creatures are destroyed or leave of their own accord. That's one that I don't really care about. Tiyanki aren't a threat. They aren't a navigational hazard, actually. It will allow me to create people in breach. But right now, that's not one that I'm going to vote yay or nay on. It is not something I consider a priority. The Citizen Confederation of Gavazul has closed their borders to us. They're nowhere near me.
Our pioneers have made planetfall.
We've begun colonization of Corinth. Now, Citadel in the Corinth system. Now, I am going to need to develop this planet where it is a little bit self-sufficient before I cut it loose for a vassal. So I am going to need to do a little bit of development, allow this planet to grow up to a population of about 10 probably, and then I can cut it loose as a vassal so that it can sustain itself and turn it into a Scalarium.
Science Division reports a new breakthrough.
We have ground defense planning. There are many alien empires who would gladly seize our worlds for themselves. We must be prepared for them, should the worst come to pass. So we have more naval capacity from our soldier jobs. That should bump our naval capacity a little bit. And our defense army damage is increased. Since we have a New Worlds expert in here, I think I'm going to go ahead and finish off atmospheric filtering just to get the habitability bonus. I do have one world where humans don't have great habitability on. Right now, it is St. Natchbel. We only have about 70% habitability. This will jump it up to 75. That will cut down on some of my expenses because I do have quite a few humans here. Their upkeep and is being increased, basically. Not for their job so much, but their living standards is what is being increased. And it is reducing the output that they do for their jobs by a small margin. This will only knock about 2.5% off of the penalty on both sides, but it's a small reduction in the habitability. It will also make our slaves have less habitability penalty. Actually, let's go to Unity. Have less habitability penalty on Earth. So instead of having only 90%, they would have 95%, which will increase our output here on Earth by another 2.5% for our miners and farmers, and cut down on our food requirements a little bit as well. Tendrizun Star Conglomerate has closed their borders to us. They are a megacorporation, xenophobic megacorporation. Bad combination. Megacorporations get a lot of benefits from having trade deals with other empires so that they can expand and build corporate holdings on other worlds. Unless they're a criminal syndicate, they need a trade deal. That is the one thing that has been keeping me from losing my xenophobia right now, is not having any deals going. I don't have open borders or non-aggression pacts or trade agreements or research agreements, and I'm not in a federation. The minute you start doing any of these type of diplomatic relations is when you start letting in xenophilia over xenophobia. And a xenophobic megacorporation is basically kicking itself in the butt, because the megacorporation gets its benefits through trade agreements. It needs to have trade agreements to be able to build its corporate holdings. And having those trade agreements with other species is going to start chiseling away at their xenophobia, and that's just a bad combination in my opinion. We have another proposal, regulatory facilitation. The Galactic Alvatharian Empire has proposed this. Resolution 34X. Soon peace and order will be restored throughout the galaxy. Do your part by supporting Resolution 34X. We should leave regulatory decisions to the experts. Industry leaders are the best qualified to identify wasteful regulation that impede productivity. So this will hurt habitability, but boost our worker pop output and our diplomatic weight from economy. I'm going to support that. I'm all for exploiting the hell out of planets as the Commonwealth of Man. The Rishethian state has closer borders to us, more xenophobes. We have another proposal. Tiyanki Conservation Act by the Veteresian League. The Tiyanki are a unique form of spacefaring life, and they must be protected from those who would harm them. Any empire that kills them will be considered in breach of galactic law. As I said, I am not interested in the minor political ramifications of Tiyanki right now. That is a resolution that needs to just go away. Another resolution. Security contractors by the hegemony of Ubaria. In the interest of galactic security, we should invest resources in independent security agencies. These highly trained and non-political professionals will help organize defense for the members of the galactic community. This would give us access to a mercenary enclave. A slight boost to trade value, but a reduction in naval capacity. And mercenary dividends will be more frequent, and mercenary enclaves will have more capacity. Right now, I am not interested in that. While having mercenaries is a nice additional income, right now I'm trying to build up my own navy. I don't want to reduce my naval capacity further at this point. Right now, I'm more interested in my own navy over a mercenary one. Later on, when I control more, then I would want to push that up to cut down on everybody else's naval capacity. And we have 2 more proposals. I'll check them at the start of April. We have regulated growth by the United Nations of Earth. By regulating the borders of the member nations, we can secure a safer and fairer galaxy for all. Though some might find the bureaucracy stifling, it is for the betterment of us all. So that will boost our empire size from systems by a small fraction. We're only getting about 22.5 from it anyway. But it will end up giving us a bonus to monthly loyalty for our subjects. I'm actually going to support this. I don't really plan on growing much further. Most of my conquest is going to become from making vassals at this point, and I do want them to be more loyal. Our other one is the Exploitation Act by the United Latripian Domains. Pre-FTL worlds fall within the jurisdiction of whoever controls the system, and each empire should be allowed the freedom to treat their property in whichever way they see fit. Observation posts provide a small amount of research while observing pre-FTL. Passing the Advanced Xenostudies resolution will increase the research gained. Non-interference is banned. Use of the Provide Technology Diplomatic Agreement will be considered in breach of galactic law. Evidence that a plant advanced knowledge espionage operation has been carried out will be in breach of galactic law. And our operation skill for infiltration will be increased. I am going to support this. This will keep people from giving technology to pre-FTL civilizations and keep them as pre-FTL so we can exploit them. Now that it has been 3 months, I should be able to modify my agreement here. Yes. Oh, no, it said how many more months? Or how many more days? It's going to be 18 more days. So in 18 days, I'll be able to renegotiate that. It would appear we are going to have competition getting this system. This is the final planet to survey. I'm only 56% done. But they have already started moving in a constructor. If I get this done before they get over here, then I can go ahead and start and I will finish first. But if they start construction before I get this done, I am not going to get this system unless I declare war on them. And I decided to go ahead and start removing this dense jungle while I'm colonizing the planet. It's going to take another 1.5 years, so we can go ahead and get this cleared out before then. Let's see, Strike Force Dragon is currently idle. I'm going to move them over this way. It would take them 1 year to get there. That's unfortunate. It's not going to take them 1 year to build that. Alright, just go ahead and return back home. How long would it take you to get there? 9 months. Still not good enough. So just resume your patrol. Yeah, I can't get over there to interrupt it at this point. What I need to do is just start first. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Let's see how much progress I get per day. 4%. I might get it. Nope, they're going to get in position first.
Recon pass
Or
completed.
are they? No. So we can go ahead. I'm lacking 58 alloys to do this. Let's go ahead and buy 125 because this is important. And build this outpost. Now that we have started it, I should get this system before they do. Now, I have finished that system, so I can come over here to survey this system. Yeah, I've already started progress on it before he got here, so we will get it first. The Jazajan Democratic Administration has closed their borders to us. We have a new proposal. Pan-galactic recycling initiatives from the Rishethian state. We all benefit from reducing waste and reusing what we can. Sharing recycling protocols between the nations of the galactic community will help us all. That increases how long it takes us to clear blockers, reduces our diplomatic weight from economy, and slightly reduces population consumer goods upkeep. I'm not that interested in this one because I believe the majority of my weight comes from economy. Well, actually it comes from fleet power, but I have one of the stronger economies, I'm pretty sure, in this. And it looks like we have dropped down a rank. The hegemony of Ubaria is actually bumped above us. Of course, their base diplomatic weight is actually lower than ours. They just are cooperative, have diplomacy traditions, and have envoys here. That is why they're above us, is their modifiers. And I have actually reconsidered. Instead of chiseling away the United Latrepian domains first, when we go to war, we're going to have to fight all three of these empires because they are in a federation. We are going to conquer the strongest one first. That will make conquering the others easier because we're going to have to fight all three anyway. And to get 100% occupation, we've got to occupy all three of them. So we might as well make the strongest our vassal first. That way, when we go into war against other people, we have a fairly strong vassal as an ally. But we can renegotiate this deal now and switch them to be a prospectorium for us. We do want their expansion regulated. We need at least 2 holdings. And it will take 3 years to do this. During those 3 years, our influence is going to dwindle. It is going to cost us 3 influence a month, which will drop us to where we're only gaining 1.4 a month. But for now, we're pretty much done with expansion other than making vassals at this point. We do have a few systems we'll be claiming. So let's go ahead and send that deal out there. The Yarricheran Divine Order has closed their borders to us. We have another proposal. Cooperative research channels by the Kesem Confederacy. We should establish protocols that permit the scientists of the galactic community to share and review discoveries more easily. So that just boosts research station output, of which we're getting 19 from here, 17 from there, 18 from there. That is a small portion of our research. It will boost our diplomatic weight from tech, but we are not currently the tech leaders. I'm not going to push this one just yet because it does not benefit us. We aren't like in research agreements or anything, sharing research. What we're mainly going to be doing is stealing research later on. We have begun converting them to a prospectorium. The Sacrosanct Garothian Empire has closed their borders to us. So they are now Prospectorium because they agreed to the agreement negotiation, which means that we will be getting a tax from them, which I believe we already were getting. We had done that change to begin with. We're giving them less research now. We were giving them 75, I think it was, or 45. They are still positive in loyalty, and their loyalty is still increasing. So they should be maxed out in loyalty in about a year, I think. Or, no, that would be, let's see, 10 months would be 26 points, which would get them up to about 70, and be another 10 months. It'd be about a year and a half. And we have another proposal. Comfort the fallen from the sacrosanct Garothian Empire. The lowest among us is still one of us, and we should come together to assist them in their time of need. Unemployed workers have their unhappiness penalty reduced. Well, most of our workers are slaves. Reduction in diplomatic weight from techs. Spiritualist ethics attraction and unity from jobs. You know, the lowest among us are slaves. I'm not interested in comforting slaves. United Nations of Earth have closed their borders to us.
System reconnaissance completed.
Rakadon Imperium has closed their borders to us. So we have two more systems that might possibly have the precursor anomaly we are looking for. Nimma Huggers. Today, riots broke out on Flaxington as parts of the population have risen in protest against our treatment of the Nimmas. The protesters formed a picket line around the head of the Nimma on which the colony's capital lies. The protesters demanded that we immediately set all the Nimmas free, working to conserve their species rather than enslave them. The movement has quickly spread to sites around other Nimmas. However, counter-protests have formed in favor of our existing programs, escalating public tension and risking outbursts of violence. So if we commence a breeding program, we'll get more society research but lose housing. If we arrest the instigators and put them on waste disposal duty, we get an authoritarian ethics attraction. We aren't authoritarians, we are xenophobes and militarists, but authoritarian attraction would also help with our imperialist faction. So we're going to arrest the instigators and put them on waste disposal duty. We've lost contact with our operatives in the United Latrepian domains who are currently trying to acquire an asset. We're going to have to find our asset, find our operatives. We have sufficient food surplus. I'm going to go ahead and replace one of the agricultural districts on Leffingwell with an industrial district, because we do need more alloys to support our military. I also have a full allotment of the oxen litters here. Surplus will eventually, when we can upgrade the soldier buildings, be shifted over here. I need to shift over one of the technicians here so that I can start breeding Farine over there to be the clerks. And this place is low on amenities anyway. So what we're going to do is resettle a Farine from St. Natchbull to Leffingwell. That gives us a little bit of a surplus amenities on St. Natchbull until this additional population grows, and gives us a little bit more amenities over here on Leffingwell, because we now have a clerk that is producing amenities and trade value. And after we breed a couple more humans to make up for the specialist jobs we're going to need with this industrial district, we can switch over to breeding Farine here to fill out the clerk slots for more amenities. Our efforts proved successful, and we restored contact with our operatives. Uthabulan allied clans entered into a commercial pact with the Werhinian galactic hierarchy. We have another proposal. Administrative insight from the Misharan state. As part of our efforts to simplify galactic bureaucracy, we are enforcing a clear administrative hierarchy in the Senate, particularly between those member states that already have diplomatic agreements in place. Subjects have an ethics attraction toward their overlord, but it reduces monthly loyalty. Well, that will go hand in hand with the regulated growth. Regulated growth boosts monthly loyalty. This one penalizes it, but it gives us more ethics attraction. And the closer your ethics align, the higher the loyalty because the opinion is shared. So we will support that as well.
Construction complete.
Here we have the Barra system. Build our mining stations here and move over here to build our starbase. We are 93% done here.
Construction complete.
So we got this system. Now I need to upgrade this, but it's going to cost me a lot of alloys to do it. I need to upgrade this so that we can build defensive stations here. But first we need to build the mining station, then the research station, and then we are going to redirect over here. Galactic Alvatharian Empire has closed their borders to us. Let's actually relocate this strike force to here for now. The Soren combined clans have closed their borders to us. Uthabulans are in a migration treaty with the hierarchy of Moffith. Oblivion. Hidden under the floor tiles in the sacristy, the archaeologists have discovered a secret crypt where the walls are lined with rows upon rows of tiny blue digital orbs, their circuitry glittering in the dark. Each orb contains the memory of a single confession and can be plugged into a cryptic-looking machine at the center of the room to reveal its contents. Those who confess their sins were blessed with oblivion, the memories of their deeds extracted by the confessional chairs stored within the digital orbs. Let us pray for some juicy confessions. Alright, we have an influential figure within Latrepian culture. We have gained a newscaster. Bermden Iridar. He is manipulation and diplomacy. Well, we'll be able to extort favors, spark diplomatic incidents, and do smear campaigns. So we could actually start disrupting relations with their federated allies and maybe break them apart through espionage. For now, we need to allow our infiltration level to climb again. Especially since we are getting very little influence per month right now. United Uthabulan clans and the Glost Werhinian galactic hierarchy are in a research agreement. We have enough alloys to begin the upgrade here. Also, getting that habitability increase will allow us to have a better habitability on this ocean world should we decide to claim it. Mashiran State and the sovereignty of Tuxcali have closed their borders to us. Everybody will eventually close their borders to us.
Blocker cleared.
So we managed to clear that blocker here on Citadel. We do not have the technology to remove the remaining blocker, but that's one blocker out of the way. Since the AI gets bonuses, we really need to up our research or we're going to fall behind. We're about 2 years away from getting a second Farine here. Now these 2 Farine could move up to be the entertainers, freeing up 2 humans to be additional researchers. So I'm going to go ahead and start construction of a city district. That'll take about 1.5 years, or 1 year and 4 months, after which we can start on another research building, which would take another year, I believe. Yes. So about after we have gotten our second Farine, we will have additional researcher jobs and be able to shuffle these 2 humans away from entertainers to be the researchers and increase our research output. We have another proposal. Guardian Angels Act by the Yaur Return. The soldiers that dedicate their lives to keeping our planet safe should be recognized and honored. It boosts our defense army morale, ups our army upkeep, and reduces diplomatic weight from fleet power. Well, we are militarist, so I do believe the soldiers should be honored. So we are actually going to support this. Let's see what this resolution does at higher levels. Prevents purging and the use of world crackers. Prevents our Armageddon and indiscriminate bombardment and any Colossus weapons other than pacifiers. Yeah, this isn't one we're really that interested in, but I will honor the soldiers at least. Even though that does penalize me since it's fleet power, where I'm probably going to end up getting the majority of my diplomatic weight. Until my economy gets stronger. Another proposal. Buzzword standardization from the Rakuten Imperium. We have to enable our enterprises to work seamlessly with one another. Streamlining strategic communication empowers our agents, making hitting key performance metrics easier. Now, economy is something I tend to have strong, so this will really benefit me, but I don't care about it right now. So I'm just going to abstain from that one. Surprisingly, nobody has proposed the galactic market. Nobody's that interested in it right now. The Etherian Galactic League has closed their borders to us. We have another proposal. Non-Interference Act from the Uthabul and allied clans. Pre-FTL civilizations should be given the chance to develop without outside interference. No. That would ban a policy we are currently using, which I believe is aggressive or active interference. All diplomatic agreements with them would be in breach of law. Espionage, yeah, we are in breach of this resolution. We do not want that to pass. Another proposal. Charter of Workers' Rights from the Citizen Confederacy of Gavazul. It is only right for us to codify the rights of workers and protect them from common abuses. Most of my workers are slaves. I do not want them getting more political power. I don't care about their happiness or diplomatic weight from pops. But no, we're opposed to a charter of workers' rights. We are an authoritarian form of government. We are a military dictatorship, so we are not interested in the plebs having a say in how the government is run. The Jazajan Democratic Administration would like to pledge secret fealty to us. You guys are kind of far away. Who are your overlords? We don't know. But if they're pledging secret fealty to us, they are obviously somebody's vassal. Whose, I do not know. The Allied Multics territories have closed their borders to us. It was going to take 2 years for us to get another pop here on Flaxington, and it has jumped up about 10 months, because it was 2 years about 3 months ago, I believe. Now it's going to say 33 months because of high pops. What that is since I started constructing a city district, it has reduced our planet capacity. So we are closer to our planet capacity because planet capacity is calculated from undeveloped districts and housing. And our housing and our undeveloped districts are reduced. But when this city district gets built, it will boost our housing, which should boost our planet size and stabilize this. So it's not going to take 2.5 years to build this. I mean, to get this pop. It should drop back down in about a year. It should drop down significantly because we will lose the modifier for high pops, I believe. The price still has not stabilized for alloys at this point, because I bought that huge chunk earlier, but it was necessary to race to completion to get this. Where are you guys headed? Alright, their raiding fleets are 16K in size. We have about half their size. They're not raiding us, otherwise we'd already be attacked. These guys are being sent out to raid someone else. But the fact that they
Construction complete.
Go through our territory to do it is kind of annoying. Alright, you're headed this way. Which means you are going to raid them. The hegemony of Ubaria. I'm fine with that. Now, I should have sufficient surplus of alloys at this point. I can go back to reinforcing Strike Force Medusa. Yeah, it takes about 200 alloys per ship, and we still have 12 more ships for this one. So this is going to take a while until I can get my alloy production up higher.
Science Division reports success.
Deep core mining. These massive drills are needed to access the rich mineral deposits that can often be found close to a planet's core. That'll boost our mineral from miners good. The cheapest one would be the mineral purification plants, which would also help our mineral output. Let's go ahead and grab that. It's going to take 7 years. Because our mining world is pretty much capped on how many miners I can get here. And this one has one more mining district before we will need more. Means I'll need an additional building slot to add a mineral purification plant. We do have a decent output of minerals right now for the development we are doing, but as I get more industry, I am going to need more mining. Breakthrough on Ofang 4. The scientist we first identified on Ofang 4 has developed into a remarkable talent. His unconventional research and sharply analytical mind has rapidly accelerated the technological development of Natfankin civilization. So they got 10% to their technological progression. And we have a new proposal. Form the Galactic Market has finally showed up. We are going to support this. De facto galactic trade, unbound by internalized diplomacy, has existed since the first two interstellar species met. As galactic leaders, we should agree that it is time to legitimize this commercial forum so that all may benefit. And the Soran combined clans are the ones proposing that. Right now it appears the readied shield is the one that is going to be the first resolution at this point. We've still got about 7 months, 8 months before it pops up.
Construction complete.
Our starbase has been upgraded. So let us start with the shipyard. Something I should have considered. Since we only have 2 jobs here, it would be easy for me to pull all the humans to the new metallurgist job and free up the entertainer slots. So what I should have been growing here is a farine. Now we're going to take a hit. Right now it says 18 months. Now it'll be 2 years before we get another farine to fill up another clerk slot, and then we can just shove these humans over to be metallurgists and move the farine up to be the entertainers. Now, that only works when you have only a few jobs, so you can favorite them and make sure that the humans aren't working them. As I showed here on Unity, and there was something I did this maintenance cycle that I should have done a while ago. I had one metallurgist job open, so I moved an artisan over there to be the metallurgist. Because there are so many jobs here, it won't free up the entertainer slots for the farine to move up. Instead, it will pull either a researcher or a bureaucrat out to fill up the entertainer slots, because the entertainer is considered higher priority because of the low amenities. Though after I get this last human here in about a year, I am going to go to breeding farine as clerks so that we have a surplus of them. I need to get farine on every one of my worlds. This world needs a farine. So we will go ahead and resettle one from St. Natchbull over to Dawnlight. Dawnlight requires a farine from St. Natchbull. We'll take a technician. Now, is there any other world I do not currently have farine on? No. Other than Citadel, but I'm going to keep Citadel as humans because I am going to spin this sector off into a vassal eventually. And I don't want them suddenly deciding they want to free their populations. I'll just make them all human. But yeah, now that I have filled up all of the mining slots for now, and I don't really need more miners at the moment, even though I have one more slot for it, I'm going to switch this to growing farine so I can fill up the other clerk slot and have an additional farine that I could eventually move up to be an entertainer when I expand. And actually, I may switch this. That's only producing about 13 consumer goods. And I do have another world that is a factory world. I think I am going to replace this with alloys. It'll take about a year, but it will switch these two over from producing about 13 consumer goods to producing about half that in alloys, I think. I think it is only going to be... Actually, it'll probably be closer to 9 alloys. We can find out fairly easily. 8 yeah, close to 9 alloys is what it will end up being. But that's still more alloys I will be getting so I can get my fleets built up. And I think I may switch this over to be a forge world instead. Of course, St. Natchbull needs more farine to work the technician slots. Now, 2 of these oxen litters are going to be kicked out to clerks because I am getting rid, in about 24 days, getting rid of an industrial district. Getting rid of a agriculture district for an industrial district. Glosterhenian galactic hierarchy has become associated with the Allied independent systems. They're just a galactic union. Interesting. I was expecting them to be hegemony, but yeah, they're just a galactic union. Galactic Destican polity has joined the galactic community. Let's see where they are. More hegemonic imperialist. Okay, they were obviously a pre-FTL society that has just been raised, I think. The Uthabulan allied clans and the United Merovian Imperium have become rivals. That is my vassal. Okay.
A new world has been secured for our colonists.
Shows how much attention I pay to my subjects. I didn't even remember they were my vassal. Alright, right now all we have are colonists. This place is going to have to be self-sufficient. So we're going to end up needing a couple of generator districts, a couple of mining districts, a couple of agriculture probably. Let's start with a generator district. We are going to designate this currently as a colony. And we need to create a sector and add a governor. Let's get Paige Douglas. She is righteous, so she reduces crime, which might be useful for this sector eventually. Galactic Destican polity has closed their borders to us. Go ahead and queue up our gun battery here. And I believe that still leaves us enough for another reinforcement here in Strike Force Medusa. We are obliterating the piracy as soon as it pops up, but we are in serious danger of these 2 areas having an outbreak if our fleet ever moves. So eventually I'm going to need to build some star bases here to stop that. We should be close. Yeah, December 30th, the Senate should go into session with the readied shield as the proposal. So we can get our first domination tradition. This will increase our unity gain. It's still going to take a long time to adopt another tradition. So the question is, do we want to start working on unity, or do we want to open up another one, such as politics? That would give us an additional envoy, and we would get a little bit of influence from envoys in the galactic community. I think we can wait. I think we can go ahead and start working on this one so that we can at least get up to where we can boost our resource output of our slaves and workers. This one would also help our monthly influence. But yes, let's go ahead and get Judgment Corps. Sprawling cities and isolated mining stations both have unique challenges associated with crime prevention. To expedite law enforcement, we have made the judicial process more efficient by combining the roles of judge, jury, and enforcer. Now, enhanced surveillance will give us another envoy, but that's going to dip into our unity gain. It will also boost our encryption, but reduce happiness, which could be a problem. And it's going to take 6 years, almost 6.5 years, to get another tradition at this rate. So we need more unity output. Let's see. We can drop fortify the border now, actually. We have sufficient starbase capacity. That's really the only one we're running, is fortify the border. That will minimize the impact of enhanced surveillance. Now, the penalty to happiness is not going to be great. However, happiness only really matters that's where political power comes in. See, these guys have double political power, so their happiness counts twice as much. My actual rulers have 8 times political power, so their happiness effect counts 8 times as much for stability. If we look down here at our slaves, they have very low political power. So their happiness, the fact that they're unhappy, has less impact on my population overall approval rating. That is where certain strata come into play. As long as I keep my ones that have the majority of political power happy, then I can keep my stability up. But the happiness penalty will affect all of our output, because it will affect all of our jobs slightly, and affect all of our stability. So we'll see what impact it has when this month gets ready to roll over.
System reconnaissance completed.
Alright, that one did not have... Let's go ahead and head this way. It's going to take over a year. By then, I should be over here with this one. Yeah, it's only going to take 6 months to get over here. And then it'll only take about 3 months, I think, to build the thing. So actually, I can go ahead and give the order to survey this system, because I will have sight on that system long before he gets here. How close am I? I have a breakthrough chance. This one might actually end up being the one to head this way. I don't know yet. We'll go ahead and queue up building that starbase. It's only going to be 2 energy credits, but it's still more territory for me. Alright, Senate is in session. Right now the resolution will pass. The only one opposed to it is the sovereignty of Tuxcali. And this will boost our naval capacity and our diplomatic weight from fleet power. The biggest impact it appeared to have was the stability on Flaxington. We have more... we have a decent amount of humans here, but not quite as many are happy anyway, because the planet itself has a happiness penalty. So yeah, they have only 47% happiness. So we do need to up the happiness of our humans a bit more to get out of the stability penalty here. That does affect our resources from jobs, so we have had a very slight detriment to it. I think we dropped not even a full point in most of these. Now next month I will get this city districts, and I need to immediately start on the research facility when it pops. So 1 year from now we will have our research labs. Now I'm not sure I'm going to be able to pull out the entertainers here and replace them with Farine, but we shall see if it works. Despite recent improvements, did not pause. Despite recent skill improvements owing to accumulated experience, Admiral Sandra Kingsley seems to be approaching the limits of her ability. Arrested development, can't level anymore. She can still get up to level 6, it appears. So she can get one more level. Let's check our leaders and see. Yeah, level 8 is our leader cap for them, so she'll probably end up dying before she gets there anyway. Right now, I don't have a lot of age bonuses. We're starting to get a little bit of crime as well because of low happiness. I was able to shift one of the entertainers over and get a Farine up here on Leffingwell to be a metallurgist. So when I get this other Farine, I should be able to shift the last entertainer over to be a metallurgist. We're going to go ahead and build surplus here. I need to get a generator, an agricultural, and a mining district up and running, as well as an industrial district, and then probably at least one building to help out a research facility maybe, so that this planet will be able to be self-sufficient. Yeah, it's going to need consumer goods. Actually, let's go for the industrial district next. And it is, of course, going to need food as well. So we will go for that after the industrial district. And they will need a source of minerals to be able to develop the world. And we can get our communications jammer being built, and then we need to work on our defense platforms here to have it be our border state before we go back to really working on our fleets. Scientist Azizi has died at the age of 96. Where was Scientist Azizi? That was the one that was en route over here. And you know what? We're probably just about done with the Endless Expanse. I could just get rid of the emissary. Or I could have it assisting research on one of my other worlds. The other world is Flaxington. There's Flaxington. Yeah, we can send him in orbit of Flaxington and go ahead and assign a leader to assist research. Let's get Leonard Spurgeon, our materials expert, and tell him to assist research on Flaxington. Because I believe I will be able to free up this person to do the final survey. We have another proposal. Equal Standing Act. Each pre-FTL civilization has the potential to acquire space flight and join the galactic community. As such, we must treat any future members with dignity and respect. No. They are not on equal standing with us. That's the Galactic Destican polity, one that was just brought up as pre-FDL, I believe. Scientist Yulo has died at the age of 90. That was our physics researcher. Maybe I should have hired Vladislav. Yeah, let's go ahead and recruit Vladislav. Still going to take a while to get my additional research alternatives. Yeah, 15% increase in technology cost in a slow research game where I have not developed sufficient research is very troubling. But Sin. Sin is unoriginal. The memory orbs contain countless accounts of tedious little transgressions. Infidelity, bearing sacrilegious garb, exposing your flappers, adorning your feelers, ingesting your neighbor's pet, child, or spouse. The deeds of one penitent alone stand out, those of the priest herself. The hollow priest, as it turns out, is a virtual representation of the church's founder, Illuminate Sauria. She appears to have suffered from severe memory loss and was haunted by the conviction that she had committed a heinous act in the past. The tiny molluscoid priest extracted and stored over 100 of her own confessions in an attempt to figure out what she had done. Alright, so we do have at least one more stage to that. Alright, we're currently at 60, 56, 63. When we get in position and assist research, we'll see how much that increases.
Construction complete.
Still over a month away. Alright, after we build that mining station, I think we will go to Deneb and enter orbit here, just to cut down on the energy credits we're spending on this, and it will be available to move out if we do need to develop something further. Here on Flaxington, since we have built the city district, it has significantly dropped how long it will take for this Farine to be born. It's down to 8 months, which will be just 1 month after the research lab is completed. So the assisting of research on Tanab went from 60, 56, 63, gained a point basically in every research. Industrial advancement. Rapid technological advances on Ofang 4 are ushering in an age of industrialization. Breakthroughs in transportation have linked previously disconnected areas of the world, creating opportunity for global trade and the sharing of ideas. However, tensions over resources are already brewing. If the history of other worlds is any guide, the populace could soon find themselves at war. So we could help them to avert a catastrophe. I don't care if they wipe themselves out. They will learn one way or another. Let's see, they are industrial age.
Construction complete. Construction complete.
So we now have Kornagi. We will build our mining station first and then our observation post. What type of world is this? That's a Savannah world. In the machine age already. Yeah, Sashimar is safe to survey. Nothing of value really in there, so no rush on it. I will finish this archaeological dig first. And it looks like I already had a computing researcher. So I kind of wasted picking up this other one. I've queued up the first defense platform from Rick Station, and I had completely forgotten about my envoy. So I assigned them to start a spy network here in the hegemony of Ubaria. And it looks like the Allied Multics territories are actually pretty broad. Let's see, where do they rank? Right between us and the United Nations of Earth. So after we break apart this federation, that would probably be our next conquest. Now, since I am not picking up the Ascension perk that will allow me to have multiple vassals without penalty, let's see about if I can get one through this. Whereas feudal society requires imperial authority. So if I switch to imperial authority and become an empire, which I plan on doing eventually anyway, then I can get feudal society, which allows my vassals, they won't be able to have expansion prohibited, but they could still have expansion regulated. But they won't be able to have limited diplomacy. That is the one drawback, is I won't be able to give them limited diplomacy. But I don't believe that's what I'm using anyway, is it? No, I'm just using restricted voting, not limited diplomacy. So I could, it really won't affect my thing, so I may consider that when I get my third civic, becoming a feudal society and going ahead and switch to be an empire. Uncivil War. In choosing to leave the world leaders of Ofang 4 to their own devices, they are now wholly responsible for their destiny. Unfortunately, it appears they are headed for war. Supposedly irreconcilable differences have driven the planet's culture groups to take up arms against one another. The coming conflict represents a dark period in their development. I've begun building an industrial district here on Dawnlight and switched it to a forge world from a mining world at this point. I lost 10 minerals a month from doing that. That's not a huge impact. And this world is growing farine, so I should be able to get rid of the entertainers at this point. Let's go ahead and favorite the culture worker jobs. As we get more metallurgists, I should be able to shift the farine up from clerks to entertainers as they grow. And it shouldn't be much longer before, about 4 months, a little over 4 months, and they will become a prospectorium and I will get my influence back. Right now, all of my influence is from power projection. I have about 71% power projection, so I'm getting 1.43 from that, which is my entire monthly gain because my base is completely being used up to transform this into a prospectorium. After I finish this observation post, I'm going to go ahead and have them just get in orbit of that system. Alright, they ended the secret fealty with us. That's fine. They were too far for me to worry about right now. The Grand Marshal has died at the age of 85. Grand Marshal Yu Juga. Alright, so we can get minerals from jobs, defense platform reductions, energy credits from jobs, or xenophobe ethics attraction and more monthly influence. You know, it doesn't really matter which of these they pull, in my opinion. The ones I really want are going to be dying soon anyway. So let's just abstain and save our unity. Sandra Kingsley. Her agenda is grow economy, more energy credits from jobs. So Strike Force Medusa is going to need a new admiral. And we will get Hayden Kingsley. She has improved fire rate and sublight speed. She's aggressive admiral, always looking to pour as much fire into the enemy as possible. And we're going to go ahead and get our second hangar here. So I was unable to juggle these guys around to allow them to move up to the entertainer slot. It still did not want to replace them with the farine. I ended up being able to spare gas plant engineer to get me an extra researcher for now. But I need to continue growing the farine to fill up the clerk slots because of amenity problems. And I'll probably grow an extra farine just to be unemployed, because while they're unemployed, they actually generate more amenities than clerks. So actually I could just leave them off of clerks, but the clerks are also helping with my energy credits, which is what is going to allow me to do the mastery of nature to build more districts on some of these worlds. Tracposian Collective has joined the galactic community. They are a hive mind. They're actually not that small. Well, there's an unidentified empire over here. That is about to be bombarded out of existence, I believe. Or is in the process of bombarding. Oh, that reminds me, I lost contact with the, I wasn't even paying attention, with the raiders to see where they went. We are dropping
Construction complete.
further. Our diplomatic weight is dropping. They have finally converted to a prospectorium, so we will be getting our influence back. The experience they will gain is based upon loyalty. So they will be, we'll only be getting 10 a month, so it'll take 120 months, which is 10 years for them to reach the next tier. When they reach the next tier, they can start finding rare deposits. They get extra researchable technologies. Governors will gain random traits. And we could trade for governors, but we do not want any aliens as leaders. That will take away from us being able to maintain xenophobia as long as possible. Citizens Alliance of Orcam Fung has joined the galactic community.
Quid vero erat.
These might actually be rebels. Now that did give us a significant boost to our research. It was like, I think we got a whole bunch of society compared to the other research fields. Yeah, we're 1 month away from atmospheric filtering, which should help out. And it has dropped this down significantly. It was more than 2 years away. Forgotten, but not forgiven. Illuminate Saria's workstation is littered with obsessive scribbles about a place called Ixbeline, and the horrors she feared transpired there. Judging from her journal, she had intermittent moments of clarity followed by complete memory loss. She writes that if she did not recognize her own handwriting, she would have thought they were the ramblings of a madwoman. It seems likely that her deteriorating mental health was a side effect of repeated memory extraction, but without a body it is impossible to say. Piecing together a coherent course of events from her many fragmented confessions has proven as hopeless for the archaeologist as it was for her. But they have uncovered what could be the coordinates to Ixbeline from one of her many memory orbs. So we can create an archaeological site there. Or we could get 500 influence. I think we will create another archaeological site. I'm curious now. But before we do anything else, I'm going to survey this system and actually going to send him over to build that research station and come back. Now, where's Ixbeline?
Science Division reports success.
Ofang. Alright, so after we get this survey done, we will come back through here and extract the final one. Ixbeline Shrouded within Ofang 2's gaseous atmosphere is the dark looming form of an enormous habitat, the Ixbaline residence. Previously a bustling space city where the residents enjoyed a pampered lifestyle with a multitude of comforts made available through technology. The habitat is now a silent tomb. Molluscoid aliens lie slumped across the floor in various states of decay. A post-mortem reveals that they died from asphyxiation, as the habitat's life support system was disabled, intentionally. Their homes are filled with unusual mechanical chairs that are hooked up to a central database in the shape of a gigantic blue orb, the Memorex. We completed atmospheric filtering. By adjusting atmospheric filtering on a per-site basis to better filter out undesirable elements, colonial living conditions may be improved. Ooh, the ancient refinery. Alright, we are going to work on deep crust engineering. We do have a couple of active volcanoes. That's going to take over 11 years. Yeah, we also need impassable mountains, but we have an impassable volcano on Dawnlight and one on St. Natchbel. So honestly, those aren't the ones we need to remove. It is the impassable mountains that are on the planets that are close to Cap. So on second thought, if we're going to be spending this long on a tech, we could get compact living. That will reduce the Empire size effect so that we're not suffering as much for technology cost, as well as give us half an envoy for later. Or we could start working on the Naval Logistics Office so that we will be able to increase our anchorages when we get them. And I think that's the better choice so that we can boost our naval capacity. Yeah, we'll get interstellar fleet traditions. That's going to take a while. Now we should get a slight increase to our resource output as the month rolls over because of the habitability boost. And it will also affect the growth rate on our worlds because that is affected by habitability. Democratic Crusaders. The Citizen Alliance of Orcam Fung closed their borders to us. I'm pretty sure they're rebels. The mysterious moon of Citadel. Now that Citadel has been settled for a while, some data irregularities have been noticed. Specifically, the moon Corinth 3A does not seem to be made of remotely similar material to Citadel. This suggests it was not formed at the same time, but rather originally formed elsewhere, and somehow was captured by the gravity of Citadel at a later date. Quite where Corinth 3A came from is currently a mystery.
New sitrep.
That would put Society research on hold. Well, it's going to take a while to get the Society research anyway, so this would be less than 2 years. Conduct a detailed survey of Corinth 3A to attempt to figure out where it came from. Yes, let's do that. I am curious. Got a communique from a previously unknown, the Adnoran Reapers. Fanatical purifiers view all alien life as a cosmic mistake and seek to purify the galaxy of its taint. They will never engage in diplomacy with other species. Quake in fear, alien scum, for your doom approaches. The Adnoran Reapers will cleanse this galaxy of every misbegotten Xeno civilization that pollutes it with their presence. Unity shall burn. Alien scum. Okay, so they're over here. They're going to be causing problems for the empires over here, which is good. That gives me time to consolidate over here before the rest of the galaxy turns on me, hopefully. That actually works out for me. I think we need to steal technology. We need to infiltrate research laboratories and systems, providing our own scientists with the answers they are looking for. So we're going to attempt to steal technology from the Uthobulans. And we are going to use our junior officer to see if he can get into some military areas. Our operatives will infiltrate research laboratories and systems, providing our own scientists with the answer they're looking for. We're going to go ahead and launch this one. It will probably take a while, but we've got 9 more years, almost 10 more years before we need to prepare sleeper cells here again. Although we need to prepare sleeper cells in the Latrepian domains. Yeah, right now we're at 30% chance of no insights. Now we're at 20, so we are gaining insights. Now there's very little chance we will not gain insights. Get our final missile platform here, and then we can get our point defense, our medium, and our large, and this defenses will be completed. Troposian Collective has closed their borders to us. So I think it's time to go ahead and begin preparing sleeper cells here. Don't really have anybody who's going to be useful. We can just commence this one when ready. And queue up our point defense platform. We have need of more Unity output, so I think it's time I went ahead and began a mastery of nature here with my next bit of influence. I've got surplus energy credits finally. It won't drain me completely dry. Gathering leads. Our undercover operatives are dispersed throughout a promising-looking conference being held in Uthobulan space. They have begun scouting potential targets.
Anomaly found.
Looking down. Optical sensors isolate a cluster of shapes on the barren surface of Shashamar 4 that could be buildings. Alright, that's a level 6 anomaly. Do I have any scientists that are close to that? No. Level 3 is the highest I have. I won't make a level before I finish this, but I do want to finish the surveys first, so we're going to leave that one be for now. I want to see if in the last few there is going to be a precursor anomaly.
Anomaly found.
Mineral cluster one. Unusually deliberate geometric configurations of minerals drifts through the debris belt by J999-11-F and is possibly of alien origin. We'll go ahead and research that one. It'll be quick and give us a bit of experience. Greetings from Dantariga. There is a matter my government wishes to discuss. We understand that your archaeologists have been studying the ancient First League civilization for quite some time. Understandable, since their territory once covered a large part of what today constitutes the Commonwealth of Man. As it happens, their territory also extends into what is now the United Latrepian domains. And Latrepian archaeologists have recovered a number of unique artifacts. If you are interested, we would be willing to sell you one of these artifacts. So for 1,000 energy credits, which I have to spare, we can get our First League artifact from the United Latrepian domains. Okay, we will actually do that. Excellent. We will make arrangements to transport the artifact to Unity at once. Now, that was beneficial that I had been holding off on actually declaring war on these people, because now I was able to get the final First League artifact I needed to complete the precursor. Now, next, I will be able to see where the First League actually is and send a ship to claim the territory, hopefully. But that actually did work out for us, being a little bit more passive while I was building up my military. Now, if I had been more aggressive, I could have had influence a little easier by declaring humiliation wars on neighbors. I probably could have expanded my territory pretty quickly, as I have very cheap claims. But I'm not really in a position to antagonize people yet. I'd like to get my military fully built up to make sure I have sufficient strength, since attacking in this direction means I'll be fighting a war on two fronts. Attacking in this direction means I would be fighting a superior force, because they actually are higher up in ranking than me. So because of the position, I was not as aggressive as I normally would be with the Commonwealth of Man, but it kind of paid off, because I now have the potential to grab the First League capital, which is good. Now, before we call this an episode, I'm going to go ahead and queue up the Discipline Defense platform. One platform left, and Mrick Station will be fully defensible. And then I can start reinforcing my fleets again until I get close to cap, and then start building the star bases that will be the anchorages, so that I no longer need to patrol for piracy. But we'll call this an episode, so thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.